Narcissism is a term often heard in everyday conversation. It is frequently used to describe someone who seems overly self-absorbed. However, narcissism is more complex than simple vanity. It is a personality trait that everyone possesses to some degree. A healthy amount of narcissism can be good. It helps us believe in ourselves and pursue our goals. Problems arise when this trait becomes extreme and inflexible. At its core, unhealthy narcissism involves a desperate drive to feel special and important, often at the expense of others. It exists on a spectrum, from mild tendencies to a full-blown personality disorder, impacting how individuals see themselves and interact with the world around them. One of the main characteristics of a narcissist is a profound sense of entitlement. They genuinely believe they are superior to others. This belief leads them to expect special treatment and admiration. They feel they deserve the best of everything without necessarily earning it. Rules that apply to other people often feel irrelevant to them. When the world does not cater to their inflated expectations, they can become easily frustrated or angry. This sense of being owed can make reciprocal relationships very challenging. They may view others primarily as tools to meet their own needs and desires. Another defining trait is a significant lack of empathy. Narcissists struggle to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. They may seem cold or dismissive when others express emotion. This difficulty in understanding emotional experiences makes true connection almost impossible. While some narcissists can learn to mimic empathetic responses, this is often a performance. It is typically used to gain something they desire rather than genuine care. This emotional detachment is a key reason why their relationships are often troubled and one-sided, lacking the warmth and understanding that fosters intimacy. Grandiosity and a persistent need for admiration are also central to narcissism. Individuals with strong narcissistic traits often have an exaggerated sense of their own importance. They might boast about their accomplishments or embellish their talents. They crave a steady stream of attention and praise from those around them. This external validation is like oxygen for their ego. Without constant admiration, they can feel empty, insignificant, or even deeply threatened. This relentless pursuit of affirmation often sets the stage for them to view interactions, especially in love, as opportunities to prove their superiority and gain the validation they so desperately seek. The drive for a narcissist to compete in relationships stems from their fundamental need for what is termed narcissistic supply. This supply is anything that feeds their ego and reinforces their sense of specialness. It can take many forms, such as attention, compliments, admiration, or even the power to make others feel small. Romantic relationships offer a particularly potent source of this supply. For a narcissist, winning in love isn't about finding a compatible partner for mutual support. Instead, it's about securing a consistent source of validation. Their self-worth is often dangerously dependent on external sources, making them constantly seek proof of their value. Relationships for someone high in narcissistic traits often transform into a stage. This stage is where they can perform and showcase their perceived superiority. Their partner might unknowingly become an accessory, chosen for how they reflect on the narcissist. This could be through physical attractiveness, status, or perceived admiration from others. The narcissist needs to be seen as the winner in the dynamic. This might involve subtly or overtly ensuring their partner appears less capable, less intelligent, or less important. Every shared moment can become a subtle power play, a chance to assert dominance rather than build genuine connection and shared experiences. Underneath the often confident and arrogant exterior of a narcissist lies a surprisingly fragile self-esteem. Their competitive behaviors are in many ways a defense mechanism. Winning, whether in arguments, achievements, or even gaining more attention, provides a temporary boost to their shaky sense of self. It makes them feel powerful and lessens their deep-seated insecurities for a short while. Conversely, situations where they don't come out on top or where their partner is seen as equal or superior can trigger intense anxiety, anger, or feelings of worthlessness. This paradox of outward grandiosity and inner fragility fuels their relentless need to compete and dominate. Ultimately, for a narcissist, love is often perceived through the lens of dominance rather than partnership. A healthy relationship thrives on equality, mutual respect, and vulnerability. These are concepts with which a narcissist typically struggles. They tend to view relationships in terms of a hierarchy, where one person must inevitably be in control. Naturally, they believe this person must be them. The idea of love as a cooperative venture where both partners support each other's growth is foreign. Instead, love becomes another field where they must assert their superiority, ensuring they always have the upper hand and maintain control. In everyday life, a narcissist's competitive nature in relationships manifests in various ways. One common example is the constant competition for attention. They might consistently interrupt their partner when they are speaking. Conversations are often skillfully redirected back to their own experiences, achievements, or problems. If their partner receives praise or attention from others, the narcissist might react negatively. This reaction could involve sulking, boasting to overshadow the partner, or even creating a diversion through drama. The underlying goal remains the same: to ensure they are always the central focus, the most important person in the room or the relationship. Another frequent tactic is one-upmanship and the undermining of a partner's successes. If a partner shares a personal achievement, the narcissist may immediately counter with a story of their own, usually bigger and better. Alternatively, they might subtly devalue the partner's accomplishment, perhaps by pointing out a minor flaw or suggesting it wasn't very significant. This competition isn't limited to the partner. Narcissists often compete with their partner's friends, family members, or even their children. They strive to be the most important and influential figure in their partner's life, demanding primary loyalty and attention above all others. The impact of this constant competition on the partner is invariably damaging. Partners often feel devalued and invisible. Their personal achievements are consistently minimized or overshadowed. Their needs and feelings are frequently ignored or dismissed as unimportant. They find themselves in a perpetual state of being compared, always feeling like they are falling short of some unspoken standard. This relentless dynamic creates an atmosphere of emotional exhaustion. The partner is always on edge, trying to anticipate the narcissist's reactions or attempting to gain their approval, which is a constantly moving target and rarely given freely or genuinely. Over time, living within such a competitive and invalidating relationship dynamic severely erodes the partner's self-worth. They may begin to internalize the narcissist's criticisms and start to doubt their own abilities, judgment, and value. Feelings of inadequacy can become pervasive, leading to anxiety, depression, or a sense of hopelessness. The relationship, which ideally should be a source of support and comfort, instead becomes a primary source of stress and emotional pain. Recovering from this deep erosion of self-esteem often requires significant time, self-reflection, and sometimes professional support to rebuild a healthy sense of self. Navigating a relationship with a competitive narcissist requires conscious effort and strong strategies for self-preservation. Setting firm boundaries is absolutely essential. You must clearly define what behaviors you will and will not tolerate. This could mean refusing to engage in arguments designed to belittle you or calmly stating that you will not be interrupted. Be prepared to consistently enforce these boundaries, as narcissists will almost certainly test them repeatedly. Remember, setting boundaries is not about trying to change the narcissist's personality. It's about protecting your own emotional and mental well-being. This can be incredibly challenging, but is a vital step. Focusing on self-care and building a robust support system is equally important. Prioritize your own emotional and physical health. Engage in activities that you enjoy and that help to build your self-esteem. These activities can remind you of your own worth outside of the problematic relationship. Seek support from trusted friends, family members, or a qualified therapist. Having an external perspective from people who care about you can be invaluable. This network can provide the validation, understanding, and strength needed to cope with the complexities of such a relationship or to make difficult decisions about its future. A crucial realization in dealing with a narcissist is that you cannot fundamentally change them. Their patterns of thinking and behavior are typically deeply ingrained and resistant to change, especially if they see no problem with their actions. Spending your energy trying to fix them or hoping they will suddenly develop empathy is often a path to further disappointment and pain. The power lies in changing how you respond to their behavior and in deciding what is acceptable for your own life. Accepting this limitation can be a difficult but liberating step towards regaining control over your own happiness. In conclusion, the competitive drive in narcissists during relationships stems from their deep-seated insecurities and an insatiable need for external validation. This behavior creates damaging and unhealthy dynamics for their partners. Recognizing these competitive patterns is the first crucial step toward protecting yourself. There is hope in understanding these behaviors, not to excuse them, but to empower yourself. You have the right to choose healthier connections, to prioritize your emotional safety, and to build relationships based on mutual respect and genuine care. Knowledge and self-respect are your most powerful tools in navigating these challenging situations.